Hello, welcome back to another installment of Strictly Sports. I'm Spencer.
I'm Boyce.
And we finally got back to you guys after being absent for a while with spring break, and then we had schedule problems, technical problems. So now that we all got it sorted out, we can finally come back to doing the show. And it's an exciting time to be a sports fan with NBA playoffs, and then the draft. First round of the draft was obviously last night, so that's mainly what we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start off with NBA playoffs, just going through what's going on right now and who we think will make it to the finals at least, maybe even a finals prediction. The Eastern Conference is a lot more competitive, or I don't know if competitive is the right word. I would say wide open than the Western Conference at the moment, because the Raptors, Sixers, or the Cavs could all make it to the finals, as far as I'm concerned. The Pacers are definitely putting up a fight with Cleveland.
They're doing a great job. I mean, there's been some debate about the reffing with especially last game with the missed goaltending on LeBron, and all the other games have been close. I mean, LeBron has had to drop 40+ points to win games for him. So
if he doesn't play pretty much a perfect game, then they pretty much lose.
Yeah, so it's been exciting. I mean, for us being Pacer fans, I mean, it's been a very exciting
I'm more of a
series.
Celtics fan, but yeah.
Oh, okay. But for me at least, being a Pacers fan, it's definitely more of it's exciting to see the Pacers play. I mean, they went into this series with LeBron having a 21-game win streak in the first round of playoffs. So I mean, there was not a lot of hope for a lot of.
This is also the worst team he's had since 2007.
Yeah, but this is the worst team he's had since 2007, and Pacers get in there, they win the game one, and back and forth in that series is 3-2. So it's been an exciting series. I personally don't think the Pacers are going to make it past Game 6. I think Game 6 is when it wraps up.
Game 6 in Cleveland, or Game 6 is in Indiana. So I think they could definitely take Game 6 because the series has been so even.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole series hinges on if LeBron goes for 30, 40, or 50 that night. Because if he goes for under 40, Cavs don't really have a chance to win because I don't think there's been another player on their team that had at least 20 points in a game this series. Kevin Love might have had 20 in one of the first couple of games, but he like everybody else will score like 10, 8, 6, 5
It's
points.
very low scoring.
Not a lot of scoring.
No, the only big points being put up right now are LeBron.
Yeah.
Only big stat line being put up as a whole is LeBron.
Unless Korver is getting open threes, but we saw in Game 4 he wasn't even hitting, like Kyle Korver's the highest percentage 3-point shooter every year. And he was missing open threes. He took 4 in a row and missed them all.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly pretty. I mean, for as far as the predictions for who makes it to the finals, and we're talking about how it's wide open. You see 76ers there, but it's kind of I mean, I don't know if you're as a Cavs fan how you can feel safe right now with the way your team is performing. Because your team is LeBron. It's 100% LeBron, and the fact that LeBron has to drop 40 points. Just for you to beat the Pacers,
Just to be competitive, just for it to be close.
Yeah,
he dropped 44 points, played pretty much perfectly.
Yeah.
And they won by 3 on a buzzer beater.
Yeah, and that's even missed goaltending.
And he got a lucky miss. I know he fouled Oladipo on there, and that's not even a reffing mistake because that's never going to get called. Game-winning basket, a little grab like that will never get called.
No.
If LeBron had hacked him really bad when he went up for the layup, then maybe that gets called. But they did miss the goaltend. They should have got that right.
But yeah, I mean, all the games they've won has been it's been a one-possession game thus far.
Yeah,
so it's not been pretty. it's not been pretty for the Cavs.
And Oladipo hasn't played that well this year.
No, yeah, and and
he's a good player.
A lot of people are complaining. The refs has been kind of in control of this series for the Pacers
because it's so close.
Yeah, it's been so close, and LeBron's a pretty big diva. He's got the biggest name, and he has so much power and control in the NBA and influence. A lot of people complain about how the refs just give him these games, or they're giving him these games, which to some extent has been true. I mean, they're definitely giving him calls, they're giving him missed calls, and he is kind of a diva, he's kind of a baby sometimes, but at the same time though, our best player, he went 5 for 20 the other night, so you can't really put it all on the refs. It's been such a close game between an underperforming star of the Pacers and an overperforming star of the Celtics that you got to be concerned. I mean, I don't see the Cavs make it to the finals at this point.
I honestly don't know if they could beat Toronto because Toronto has 3. They have Ibaka, Lowry, and DeRozan. Yeah, and those are 3 good players that LeBron has to handle, overpower.
Yeah, he's got
to outscore them.
Yeah, and that's not going to be an easy task by any means.
I mean, it's just I know I've seen reports that he wants to stay in Cleveland, but has no faith in the roster. I don't think he could endure another 82 games carrying them.
No,
I think it would be. I
mean, back last year and the few years before that, they had
Kyrie
with
Love.
them. Yeah.
They had a better bench too.
Yeah.
With Richard Jefferson.
And all of a sudden, like midpoint this season, like when their playoffs hopes were kind of in the balance, they blew up the roster or whatever. And
I don't know, like now that, like at first everybody was in love with that move, but LeBron, if he had Wade in this series, would be a lot different for him. Because Dwayne Wade, I mean, we saw what he could do in the series with Miami and
absolutely.
Philadelphia. He put up like 30 points one game, so he can definitely at least take like he can at least put up 15 points for you, and that's like all he just needs somebody like few players that can put up 15,
just like a reasonable amount
points,
of points, yeah,
just to let him take a couple possessions off or let him have somebody to pass the ball to. So I think I know we're kind of prematurely talking about this, but I think I definitely think he'll leave just because when you play with a really bad team, he'll want to play with a good team so much more. I think Houston's a really real option for him just because how unbelievably good that team would be.
Yeah, that would be very solid.
We're talking about the playoffs right now, and so right now the other the Raptors are obviously going to take care of the Wizards.
Yeah,
and then the Bucks and Celtics are going to Game 7 tomorrow night.
That's very exciting. Who do you think's going to take that one out?
Going into the series, I thought the Bucks would win it in 5 or 6 games because they had overwhelmingly amount of talent.
Yeah,
against
Celtics
the Celtics.
Are missing,
Celtics missing Kyrie,
right
Gordon Hayward.
Hayward.
Daniel Tice has been his very valuable bench player, and they didn't get Marcus Smart back until Game 5. So their 3 best players right now are Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford. And the Bucks have Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Jabari Parker. And Thon Maker has been they're just so much more athletic and longer. So I thought the Bucks would have taken care of that series pretty handily, but they haven't. So I really don't have a lot of faith in the Bucks. So I'm gonna go with the Celtics in Game 7 because it's in Boston.
It's in Boston, yeah. That was gonna be my reason. I was gonna.
Bucks haven't beat the Celtics yet in Boston. Neither the Celtics haven't beat the Bucks in Milwaukee, but they don't need to win in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's so they did more work in the regular season.
And last night the Celtics played horribly. Jaylen Brown had a terrible game. Celtics had a really bad game, but kept it really close and for most of the game. So, I got to go with the Celtics. And I think they have a major coaching edge. Brad Stevens is second best coach in the NBA behind Popovich. So.
Yeah, and Popovich is now out now. So now it's
Brad Stevens is the best coach left.
Yeah, so now it's left standing. Brad Stevens is the best coach right now.
So I got to go with him, but
I'm gonna take the Celtics here. It's at Boston, like you said. I mean, yeah, they looked really bad the other night, but it was still a close game, and the series is 3-3 right now. And like you said, they're missing Kyrie and they're missing Gordon Hayward, and that should just show you what a good job that Brad Stevens has done and is doing. And like you said, I mean, Popovich is he's the best coach in the NBA, but he's done now. I mean, he's out. I mean, unfortunate for him, he had to go because of the Warriors.
And his wife also.
And his wife passed away. But so he was missing part of the series for that. But he, now that they're out, I mean, they've been eliminated by the Warriors, so now it's just Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is not number one, playing in the NBA or 2018. So I'm going to take the Celtics that game, and they're going to move on.
But either way, I don't think the Sixers would. I don't think they'd lose to the Bucks. That'd be an interesting matchup. But I do think the Celtics were Sixers series. I think we'd see Philadelphia take that in 6 games at least. I'd probably say a max of 6 games in that series just because Philadelphia has way more talent again.
Mm-hmm. And Ben Simmons has been balling out.
But they don't have... but Ben Simmons he's not the human mismatch like Giannis, where Giannis is such a cheat code.
Yeah,
when you watch him play,
it's just the measurables he's got, I mean,
it's the fact any area close to the paint he'll score from just because he's so long. You can't block him, and sometimes he's just so strong too. It's impossible to keep him from scoring if he's in the paint, and he's so fast that he's just a huge mismatch by everybody. So. And the Sixers don't really have a player like that. I mean, Simmons is good, but he's not as fast as Giannis. He's more guardable. And he can't shoot to save his life at all. Neither can Giannis, really. But Giannis has a decent mid-range jump shot. So that makes it tough. But I think Giannis could easily go for 40 in the next game, and the Celtics would probably still win.
Oh, absolutely. I don't doubt Giannis at all in this series. It's the Bucks that I doubt.
I doubt
their team.
Giannis and Middleton have really carried them, and Thon Maker has been huge on defense, but he almost fouled out last night. He didn't get a lot of playing time in the second half. But Giannis and Middleton, Chris Middleton's also a huge mismatch just because he's so long and tall, and he can just hit a pull-up jump shot from anywhere inside, any mid-range jump shot. So there are two huge mismatches that the Celtics haven't really been able to defend the series, but the other 10 players on the team haven't really done much for him. Eric Bledsoe's been pretty suspect so far. He's been exposed by Terry Rozier.
Yeah, Eric Bledsoe's not good.
He got crossed up so bad.
It was rough. It's not been a great series for Eric
So
Bledsoe.
I honestly think the Sixers have a real shot to make it to the finals this year.
Oh, absolutely.
But just because they're making it this year doesn't mean they'll make it next year. Doesn't mean they'll make it the year after that. Because the Celtics will be so much stronger next year when they have their full team.
Yeah, Celtics get Gordon Hayward and Kyrie back healthy.
Yeah.
Then, let's say that they, assuming that, no other injury bug hits the Celtics. I mean, they go into the playoffs with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie and Brad Stevens as their coach.
And after having a whole season to build chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. And then, who knows what happened to the Cavs. I mean, maybe they make some crazy offseason moves and build up their roster more. Maybe LeBron's gone and he's with Houston, and Houston is just a, massive, humongous threat.
They're in the East, so. Or Houston's in the West, but. I don't see. I like the Raptors roster, but I've never trusted them in the playoffs. They've never, they've always, I don't see them beating. I think they could go far with the Cavs. I think they could maybe beat the Cavs, but I don't see them beating. Them versus Philadelphia actually really interesting because Philadelphia is so young. But I don't know. I think Philadelphia has too much momentum right now. Their home court is just too good. It's so tough to win in Philly. But on the Western side, obviously the Rockets won. The Thunder and Jazz the Thunder are hanging on. And the Pelicans and Warriors have won. I think it's pretty obviously going to be Rockets-Warriors finals, just like it was. I think it was last year too. Even though the Pelicans have been playing really well.
Pelicans have looked good. I mean, Anthony Davis is just being Anthony Davis, and
Drew Holiday's been playing. Drew Holiday could guard Steph Curry.
He could.
That looks like. And then Rondo's been a huge, floor general for him. Distributing, he makes it so Drew Holiday only has to worry about scoring. Yeah, and that's huge.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off of Drew Holiday for sure. So,
I think that series could go 6, but the Warriors just have an overwhelming amount of talent that it's
just like they have had, the past 3 years.
No team can
truly compete with them.
I think the Rockets with their shooting can hang with them for a while, but when it gets into the last 2 minutes. I'm taking the Warriors every time because they have Kevin Durant, they have
Steph Curry,
Thompson,
Draymond Green,
and you can't commit to any of those guys because you're going to leave Klay Thompson wide open.
Yeah, you're going to leave one or the other. You kind of have to choose. You pick your poison at that point. You have to pick, who's going to take the shot. So.
And James Harden he's inconsistent in the playoffs. He'll have a good game then a bad game. So I can't fully put all my chips to him. I can't fully say I trust James Harden to carry
not quite yet.
The Rockets.
Definitely not.
Even though he's had an MVP season, him and Chris Paul, I don't know if they're enough to propel the rest of the Rockets team past the juggernaut that's the Warriors. Mm-hmm. They might get lucky because Steph Curry is coming off an injury. He might not be 100%.
Yeah, maybe still he's lost a little bit of a step since he last was on the court. So,
but if all Steph has to do is knock down threes. So
yeah, that's what he does. So it's definitely gonna be a tough one for him. I don't see the Rockets pulling a win out. I could see it going to Game 6, maybe even Game 7, maybe. But I'm thinking a Game 6 series right there.
I'm thinking Warriors in 6.
Yeah,
and then Warriors would probably sweep anybody from the West or from the East. I got the Warriors in 4 against. If they play the Cavs and LeBron goes for 80 in a game, maybe they win. But Warriors are going to be so much better than any team coming out of the East that it's not even going to be close. Every analyst has been talking about, it's so interesting what's happening in the West or in the Eastern Conference to see who will get to the finals. But it doesn't even matter because either the Rockets or the Warriors honestly would sweep any of the teams from the West, even the Celtics, even the Bucks. Raptors would get swept. The farthest I see a final series going this year is 5 games.
Yeah.
So, it'll be an exciting playoffs up, and then it'll be anticlimactic when it gets to the finals because it's going to be we're going to know who's going to win.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So now we're going to go talk about the NBA draft or the NFL draft. Sorry, I'm getting excited for the NBA draft already. The NFL draft, which was really exciting last night. Baker Mayfield got picked number 1.
Yeah, I was like, were you surprised by that?
No, because it's the Browns. Because the Browns are going to make a stupid pick.
You think it's a stupid pick?
Baker Mayfield.
I like Baker Mayfield. I don't like him as much as I
They
like.
tried this already, dude. They tried it with Manziel.
Manziel was different though. Manziel had a big, Manziel had a big drug issue, and he just now it's coming out about his bipolar,
that is
issues
true.
he's coming out with.
But Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel play very similar.
Yeah, I get
Baker
that they
Mayfield
have the
never,
same
like-
attitude. I mean, I think
Everybody
Baker
in Ohio,
Mayfield
everybody in the
is.
state of Ohio hates Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I
They
get that.
hate him there.
Yeah,
He's
because
very hated.
yeah,
He
yeah.
like Ohio State,
And it all
football,
started with the Ohio State football game where he went out to the middle
that's
of the
why
field
they
and
hate
playing
him.
the fan.
In Ohio State football is all they have because
Yeah.
Cleveland sucks and the Bengals suck.
Yeah.
So they cheer for Ohio State, and when you disrespect them, they don't like it. And
You're right. It's
He's
definitely
not gonna be a fan favorite from day one.
yeah. It's definitely people really don't like him, obviously, but I mean. He could change that around with winning a few football games for the Browns. Just it didn't have to be that many. Just a 5-11 season, I think, could help change that around.
Just 2 games is fun. Like
Yeah, it's
the
an
redeeming
improvement off what
the
they've
only
done.
redeeming quality for Baker Mayfield is his attitude. Like attitude towards like how motivated he is by everything. How he wants to be really good. He's like everything. Every time somebody says he's gonna lose or he's not that good, it just motivates him. His story, how he's overcome a lot to get to where he is. That's encouraging because he's resilient. But
I think that's what they like. That's why they like the
But-
attitude.
come on, like
So it's an Ohio State fan.
no, I'm not. I'm trying to be objective for him, but I don't see how you take him over Darnold. I just don't see it. Darnold has so much more potential, and in that conference,
I think from the aspect
every
of a
other
football player.
quarterback in that conference is like a bigger guy.
Okay, yeah. So
Roethlisberger
they
and
got
Flacco
Andy
are both
Dalton,
huge.
Roethlisberger, and Flacco. Flacco's been meh.
He won a Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah, but that
So,
was with a defense
You know what Cleveland?
team.
You know what the Cleveland Browns would do to win a Super Bowl?
That was with a defensive filled team. That was Ray
But
Lewis.
Flacco played well in the playoffs.
No, he looked good. No, I'm not
Like,
I'm not
they
talking
won
about
a Super-
Flacco.
so you can't
But-
hate on
but-
Flacco 'cause he
Okay,
won a
but
Super
since
Bowl.
then, it's been a while since that playoff. That was when Kaepernick he was still playing football for the 49ers. It was and you know what?
Kaepernick was really good that year.
But that's what I'm saying though. I mean, those are two very defensive teams though. They're filled up, and it's been a long time since then. I mean, look how much the league's changed since then. Flacco's been meh ever since that Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Danny Dalton is the epitome of average in the football league. I think if you're going to rank the 32 starting quarterbacks, you put him 14, 15, 16, somewhere,
Yeah.
or 15, 16, 17.
But he
somewhere right
can
in
at least
there.
consistently start for you.
Yeah,
He's
he can.
a starter.
But you need to build so much more around him in order to actually win games with a 16 ranked
But the
overall.
problem
quarterback.
is Baker Mayfield. It's like it's hit or miss with him. He's not going to be the kind of guy who you're like,
yeah, it's kind of a
oh,
risk.
he's just a consistent starter for the team. It's either like, oh, he's going to either be like somehow he's going to be an amazing quarterback. He's going to be like Drew Brees, but a little bit more mobile and more arrogant and more cocky.
Yeah.
Or he's going to be like Johnny Manziel's like twin.
Yeah, I think looking at that pick, it was they had a lot they liked about Sam Darnold. Everybody had a lot they liked about Sam Darnold. He went third overall. He's expected to go first overall. But I think it was the attitude. I think Baker Mayfield has his attitude, and the Browns need. I mean, this is their second year in a row now being the first overall pick in the draft because of how bad they've been. 2 1-game-a-win seasons. So I look at this and I think it's got to be the attitude. They trust him. They've obviously been through Johnny Manziel. I think
That didn't work.
That didn't work. I think he has a Johnny Manziel with significantly less baggage. Because Manziel,
but their play style is very similar.
Play style similar, yes, but also Manziel did win them football games for the few times that he played.
Yeah.
So, I look at this, and he's not maybe the best overall player that was available as far as quarterbacks goes this draft, but he has an attitude that none of the other quarterbacks really had. He's just different. He just stands out. He's cocky. He rallies his teammates. He's kind of a hot shot.
He's a good leader.
There's a worry. Yeah, he's a good leader. There's a worry that he, can't control his emotions at the pro level, maybe gets him into some trouble in game or off the field. We've already seen him get arrested once, while college for trying to run away from the
decked
cops.
by that cop.
Yeah, there was a video of it. It was bad.
Dang.
But they need a whole franchise turnaround. The Browns. This is 2 years now of
They don't have
2
a bad
wins.
roster aside from their quarterback. I mean, Denzel Ward was their 4th pick.
Their cornerbacks are kind of. But
he ups the cornerbacks with them. They have Myles Garrett, a young defensive end for them, and their offensive line is solid.
yeah, obviously they lost Joe Thomas, but still, it's they're not the worst roster in the NFL. I would take other teams to be the worst roster in the NFL, but that culture, as far as the Browns organization goes, is just bad. I mean, fans have been wearing bags there. You know, it's like a 20-year drought.
They're going to turn around.
No
they have a good wide receiver core.
Yeah, they have they got Tyrod Taylor, they got Josh Gordon, Jarvis Juice Landry, they got Carlos Hyde, you know, and
they have players around Mayfield. And I mean, at least the encouraging thing for the Browns, well, I don't know if this is encouraging, but Tyrod Taylor's at least like somewhat like startable.
Yeah,
So
I think Tyrod Taylor's a little bit underrated.
Baker doesn't work out. They can start Tyrod, but you don't want to waste your first overall pick on a guy that you're not going to start. So
yeah, I mean, I like the attitude that they have with him. I think that's what they're looking for, though. I think they saw his attitude. They had more trust in him than what Johnny Manziel was. And I think they see him as a real fearless leader, which if they can just manage to squeeze out 4 or 5 wins this year and just begin that process to just turn the organization 180, that, you know, maybe like he is the one to lead them to that. I mean, he's got the mentality for it. You know, he's got the cockiness, the arrogance, the hot shot, and he's certainly a talented quarterback. We saw him make some amazing plays at, you know, Oklahoma. Now, you know, best player quarterback-wise, maybe not, but I mean, there's so many quarterbacks in this draft.
I think Darnold is actually very happy because he doesn't have to go to Cleveland now. He gets to be in New York.
Yeah, he gets to go to New York.
Huge market.
Yeah, big market. The Big Apple.
Honestly, though, the roster, like, I wouldn't want to be on New York's the Jets' offense, though. So that kind of sucks for Darnold.
Yeah, so look at that. Yeah,
he got to throw. He has nobody to throw to. And then Saquon Barkley was taken second
to the Giants. I mean,
I don't know if I would have taken a running back second overall. I know he's supposed to be a generational talent and everything, but we've heard that about running backs in the past,
and they've been, you know, faulty.
It's like it's so hit or miss with a running back in the top 5, top 10, first round.
Even just first round as a whole, running backs are that's just a risky thing to do, and just have a second overall pick and throw it on a running back.
Running back is probably the deepest position in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really work at that, and so much of the running back's success depends off of the offensive line, and you know we've seen him struggle at least against like Ohio State. You know, Ohio State, one of like their bonuses this year, or at least their positive this year, was that just that beastly up front four. Yeah, as far as defensive line goes, they were monsters. I mean, that was an NFL defensive line against college level, you know, offensive lines, and you know we saw him. I mean, he just tried to make too many big plays.
He had one big play, and then after that, he rushed for like 5 yards the rest of the game.
Yeah, so I mean, he tried to make every play a big play, which that was one thing that worries me a little bit about that pick because the Giants have not had a phenomenal offensive line.
Yeah,
and you know now they're going up. They're going to be playing the Eagles twice this year, who have maybe the best defensive line. Yeah, I mean they're stacked. They're just coming off a Super Bowl victory.
It's important for a running back to know when he just needs to eat it, and you say I got nothing, and you just try to. You just try to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and just get back to the line, maybe get a yard or two.
Yeah, like running backs in the NFL, there aren't a lot of running backs that are successful running east-west. You gotta be a one-cut north-south guy who can juke once you get into the secondary. So like I think he definitely has big play potential. He's good in the passing game too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a solid running back. He's a good running back. At least he was really good at the college level. He's super strong. Super fast. He's got pretty much everything you would want in a running back. It's just that running backs, you can get, if you have a good offensive line, you can get any capable running back, and he'll go for 100 yards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw Ezekiel Elliott was taken 4th overall 2 years ago, you know. He had a phenomenal rookie season. But
he was just fast, so he just saw a lane, and he just hit it, and then he just go.
Yeah, and he'd go. And, you know, we saw, the Cowboys had a phenomenal offensive line back then, and then they still have a really good offensive line, but it wasn't as good as it was his rookie year. You know, other than the suspension, we saw a lot of poor Ezekiel Elliott play. I mean, he went up against the Denver Broncos defense, which is not the same Denver defense that they had, 2 years ago, and he was shut down for only 8 yards.
Yeah.
The entire game. So much of that depends on. It's just a risky pick. I mean, Gettleman's really risking a lot here, taking a running back second overall when it was such a quarterback needy draft class and a quarterback filled draft.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I like Josh Rosen. I don't understand. Like, I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, he might be like too smart, or he might be kind of a jerk. And his coach said like, you got to keep him. He said something like you got to keep him mentally challenged, so he stays interested. Like he's a smart guy and he's accurate. He doesn't have like a huge downside. I don't think. Like, he could end up being a big diva, but on the field he's smart. I think he'll make the right plays and he'll make accurate throws. So I think Arizona was a good place for him. He's from the West Coast, so he actually got picked to a good team for him. But he said he wanted to be picked earlier, and he kind of has a chip on his shoulder now that
Maybe it's a good chip on his shoulder, Maybe
it'll motivate him.
Maybe it's like a motivation. Yeah. So
I think he was the most solid quarterback option in the draft. I know Josh Allen. Josh Allen probably has the most upside of any quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, but he's a project.
It's going to take him he's like Paxton Lynch. Like Paxton Lynch, everybody's like everybody really wanted him. Like a lot of GMs really wanted him because they knew the potential was there. And look at him right now. He's like second or third string on the Broncos. Like he's not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing a whole lot, but that's the idea of it. So I mean, he's a project. So you got your quarterback for maybe the next decade or so, but you have to
3 or 4 years.
You definitely have to have the right coaching with that quarterback situation. Mm-hmm. So that's the issue with it. I was not a big fan of Josh Allen just because of that. I mean,
he's not a very accurate thrower.
If he could show up at the right, the right organization this draft, not go as early as he did to as bad of an organization.
Where did he go to?
He went to the Bills at 7th overall. So, that's tough. One surprise during the draft I saw was that Derwin James, the safety out of FSU, dropped all the way down to 17th.
I don't know how that happened, but the Chargers got a steal.
They did get a steal, 17 to get that dude.
Last year when the Colts got Hooker.
I was thinking the exact same thing because
that was like the same thing.
Hooker at what, 15?
Yeah, 15, and we were all like, I don't know if I was texting you during that, but I know I was talking to some people and we're like, I don't even know how he fell that far because he was so highly rated.
Yeah, he was highly rated. He was rated as the second best safety, and
he was rated as the best safety.
So some people had him rated as best safety. Jamal Adams went right away.
It was Jamal Adams.
Yeah, Jamal Adams went right away. Top 3 to the Jets, and then after that, I mean, there was no safeties taken, and it just dropped, and so.
And then the Broncos took Bradley Chubb, which just makes their defense a lot scarier.
Oh yeah, I mean Von Miller just got his sidekick. And speaking of sidekicks, Julio Jones also got his sidekick.
I'm a little surprised that they went with a defensive pick there because they just signed Cousins, right?
Yeah, who?
The Broncos.
No, Cousins going to.
They signed
Case Keenum.
Yeah, so they do have their quarterback.
So a little mix up there.
There's a whole triangle of quarterbacks.
Yeah, so they got their quarterback Case Keenum.
But I guess there wasn't a lot of offensive talent in the draft other than quarterback and then Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised that they didn't really. Sometimes you expect Elway to go with a quarterback, but I think they definitely made their offensive line scarier, and they probably took the best player that was available. And then the Colts took Quentin Nelson, who is also probably the best player available at that pick.
100%. I mean, there was 3 truly future Hall of Fame elite generational talent players this year that non-quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. That was Saquon, Chubb, and Quentin Nelson. And I think Quentin Nelson, was a smarter pick for both the Denver and the Colts overall. But
he's the safest pick, and Chubb's but everybody knows if Chubb.
But I think Chubb was the flashier pick. I mean, he's
the
more
flashier pick, but he has so much upside that if he gets to where they think he'll go,
and he's Von Miller going to be mentoring him the entire way. That's already on a nasty scary defense with great pass coverage and
that is scary.
All these other elements to help him. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a scary, difficult pass rush for years to come. But I was very satisfied with the Colts pick last night. Once I saw Denzel Ward go, I knew immediately we're getting Chubb or we're getting Quentin Nelson. And as much as I hate to admit it, I think Quentin Nelson was the better pick for us. Not because
I think if Chubb, I wish I could talk to Chris Ballard and say if Chubb and Nelson would have been both at the 6th pick, which one would you have taken? And that's tough because Chubb is he has so much potential for the defensive side of the ball for you.
Yeah.
But then Nelson is such a safe pick. They're such a safe pick for your offensive guard. He'll probably play right guard, right?
Yeah, well, it'll be probably left or right guard. He played left guard over at Notre Dame, and he did a phenomenal job there. So right now we did sign a new guard over the season, Matt Slauson. So we're looking at, I think we're expecting, since Jack Mehor's coming off an injury, to play Quentin Nelson at left guard, have Costanzo at left tackle. Center will be Ryan Kelly, obviously, which that's a solid line right there. I don't love Costanzo.
And then Slauson. Costanzo at least is healthy. He plays.
He's healthy and he can be standard. He can reach the standard.
If you put the 32 best offensive tackle or left tackles in the league, Costanzo would be 13, 14, 15. Right, boys?
Yes, exactly.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. So he can do his thing, but he can still get beat. But yeah, I mean, it's better than what our offensive linemen have. We've been
preaching for the Colts offensive line. It doesn't have to be good; just needs to be solid,
capable,
just solid.
Yes.
Just keep some pressure off Luck.
Yeah. And I mean, let's say we never got Quentin Nelson and we got Bradley Chubb, and let's say Andrew Luck comes off of this 2-year hiatus from his shoulder injury, and he's back healthy finally, and he still has this horrible offensive line ahead of him, and his defense is making turnovers, but as soon as he gets out there, let's say we're playing the Broncos, and he gets out there, and then there comes Von Miller and just ruins his shoulder.
I remember watching us play the Broncos. I think it was the last season Andrew Luck was playing, and I just watched Von Miller bully Joe Wrights, play after play. He didn't even try to do a flashy move. He literally just bull rushed him. And there's nothing Joe Wrights could do. Poor Joe Wrights. There's nothing a lot of people can do about that.
But so that pretty much sums it up for our show today.
And the second round is tomorrow night, and then we should have more to talk about next week with first round finishing up. And second round of the playoffs will just be starting. So make sure to follow us on Twitter. The handle is right there.
Yeah, it's Strictly Sports.
And with 2 Ys. Maybe that's why we haven't been getting a lot of followers. A lot of people's dads have been following us, which is cool. Appreciate it.
Thanks, dads.
We have we're up to 13 right now, which is new. So all right, we'll catch you next week. Have a good week.
See ya.